Hello friends, welcome to Efficient Learning World. So today we are going to cover another program in C++ program playlist, that is program to check that input string is input string is a palindrome string or not. So in the previous video I explained you that how to check that input number is a palindrome or not. So in this video I will explain you that input string is palindrome or not. As we know that string can be of type character array and string as well. So I will explain you for both methods, like palindrome string program for character array as well and string as well. So before starting the actual coding of this program, I will like to explain you that what is palindrome numbers. Okay. So basically a palindrome string is a string that remains same when its character are reversed. What it means, for example, if I give you 1 2 3 in the output, and if I want to reverse it, then output will be 3 2 1. Okay, so when I compare it and if I get the same output as that of my input, so then I can say that it is a palindrome string. So you can see this, my input string was 1 2 3, and my reverse string, when I reverse this string, then I get 3 2 1 in the output. So it means that these strings are not equal, so this is not a palindrome string. Okay, so another examples can be, for example, input if my input string is like SAAS, so you can see this is a string, and if I reverse this string, then I will get the same output as that of my input, which will be SAAS. So then I can say that this string is a palindrome string. Why? Because my input string, after reversing this input string, I get the same output as that of my input. Okay, so for this you must have to know that how to reverse a string. Another examples of palindrome strings can be, for example, you can say that my input string is like this. Okay, program. Okay, so if I want to reverse the string, then I will get in the output that will be margorp. Okay, this is my input string. Okay, and this is my reverse string. Okay, this reverse string is the in reverse of this string. Okay, so you can see that this string and this string, these are not equal, so I can easily say that this is not a palindrome string. Why? Because my reverse string and input strings are not equal. Another example, for example, if my input string is like mom, and my reverse string, and after reversing this string I get mom. Okay, so you can see that input string and my reverse string, these are equal, so I can easily say that this is a palindrome string. Okay, so you see the difference between palindrome string and with that string which is not a palindrome string. Okay, so what is the difference between palindrome string or not, which is that if I have a input string and I reverse all the characters, and if I get the same output as that of my input, then I can easily say that this is a palindrome string. Okay, you can see that this string was my input string and this string was the reverse of this string, so these are not equal, so this is not a palindrome string as above mentioned in that output. Okay, so if you see this green box, then you can see that my input string was mom, and after reversing this string I get the output mom also. So you can see that my input string and my reverse string, these are equal, so I can easily say that this is a palindrome string. Okay, so after observing all of these observation, you can easily get an idea of this, that to check that string is palindrome or not, you must have to reverse the string leaf first. Okay, so after reversing the string, you can say you just have to compare the reverse string and my input string. So after comparing the input string and reversing string, you can easily judge that whether the input string is palindrome string or not. So to reverse the string, you have a lot of different methods, like you can use recursion, you can use loops, you can use different type of methods, but I will explain you the easiest method, that will be using a built-in function, that is reverse function. So what is the reverse function? This function is a predefined function. This function is defined in algorithm header files. It reverses the order of elements in that string or in the range. Okay, you must have to give the range in the reverse strings parameter. For example, I explain you that this is a string and this is a string and this is my reverse string. So I reverse the input string. So to reverse a string, I will use the reverse function, that is a predefined function already defined in algorithm header file. One thing important to remember is that to use the reverse function you must have to include the algorithm header file in your program, otherwise compiler will generate an error. Okay, so you can see the syntax of this function is will just have to write the reverse, and you just have to pass two arguments in this function. The first argument will be the starting address and the second argument will be the last character. Okay, so for example you can see that this program from p to from p to m, I want to reverse the string. Okay, so I will just write here the variable name dot begin variable dot end. Okay, these two arguments are separated by a comma. Okay, and one thing also important is that this function will not return any type of value. That's why you can see that return type is void, and this function is already defined in algorithm header file. So this okay, so this function was used to reverse the string. For reversing the character array you can use strrev function, that is also a predefined function, but this function is defined in string header file, and this function is also used to reverse the given string, but the reverse string will be of type character array. Like you can see the example here that this is a string character of type character, and you can also pass here size, for example 10, 20 up to you. Okay, and I initialize it with omg, and I just initialize it with omg, and after initializing and declaring this character array I use here function strrev and pass the character array in the argument, okay, of this built-in function. And after this I will get in the output that will be gmo means the reverse string of my input string. So to reverse the character array you can use simply strrev function, and to reverse the strings you can simply use the reverse function. Okay, so I will explain you the further in the code. So let's check the actual code on the editor. So I opened my Dev C++. You can use any type of editors, for example, Code Blocks, Visual Studio, Dev C++. The code will be same for all type of editors. Okay, so I will firstly explain you that program to check input string is palindrome or not. So first of all, I will declare a variable name str, and I will initialize it here like omg, and you can either use a input from the user. Okay, I am just here initializing it with omg. Okay, you can as I said that you can also take the input from the user as well. Okay, so I just here declare another variable that will be reverse string. Okay, and I initialize it with str. So why I am declaring and initializing it with str, and what is the purpose of this reverse string? So basically the for to reverse the string, I explain you that I will use the reverse function. Okay, reverse function. So one thing I explain you in the slides that this function will bring the changes in the original string as well. So if I want to reverse the string, then this function will have omg. Okay, so after reversing the string, this will contains the gmo. That will note my point. Okay, so what I am trying to say is that I don't want any type of changes in my original string. I just want the reverse string in another variable that I declare here, which is reverse string. Okay, so first of all I will try reverse, and I have to pass some type of arguments in it, and it will be reverse, and I just copy the variable name. Okay, so you can use another type of variable names as well. So reverse string or begin, it means that it will take the character from o, and the last character that will be g. Okay, so I will write here dot end. Okay, and end the parenthesis. Okay, brackets. Okay, so you can you see that I use here the reverse function, but one thing I explain you in the PowerPoint slides, that is this function is defined in another header file, that is algorithm header file. So without algorithm header file this function will not work and compiler will generate an error. So you must have to write here that algorithm header file. Okay, so for example if I am not including it in the this program, then you can see that this will give me an error, reverse was not declared in this header file. So you must have to declare include this header file in your program. Okay, so after this you can after this reverse function, what will happen that reverse string means GMO will be stored in the reverse string and there will be no change in the original string. So that's why I also use here another variable. Okay, so after this I just have to compare this string that the value string in the str and the value string in reverse strings are equal or not. If these are equal, that it means that this is a palindrome string. Okay, so I will just write here that if str equal to reverse string, then it means that the string is palindrome. Okay, string is palindrome and end line. And if these strings values are not equal, then it means that this is not a palindrome string. Okay, so I just copy this string and okay, this string and paste it here. Close this so that you will be easy to you will be able to easily understand this what I'm trying to say, that string is not a palindrome string. Okay, palindrome string. So let's write here string as well. Okay, so you can see that first of all I declare a variable name str and I initialize it with omg. You can either take input from the user as well. Okay, then I also declare a variable name reverse string and initialize it with str as well. Okay, so commenting, if I write some comment omg. Okay, so omg is also stored in str and also stored in reverse string as well. Okay, so after this I write here a function that is a reverse function that will reverse the that will reverse all the characters in the reverse string variable and store it in the reverse string. Okay, so after this statement what will happen, that str will be omg and the reverse strings means this string will be initialized with gmo. Okay, gmo. Why? Because of this reverse function that I used here on line number 10. Okay, so it will just in the if condition it will just compare that's the value that string in stored in the str variable and the string stored in reverse string, if they are equal or not. So in the str it will it have omg equal gmo. Okay, so these are not equal, so if part will not be execute and else part will be execute, and in the else part I write here string is not a palindrome string, so this line will execute. So let's compile and run over code. So you can see that okay, this code. Okay, so you can see that it is displaying that string is not a palindrome string. Why it is displaying that string is not a palindrome string on console? Because omg is not a palindrome string, because if you reverse all the characters then you will get gmo. That means that output string is not equal to input string, that why it is not a palindrome string. So let's suppose I write here initialize it with SAAS. SAAS. So you can see that SAAS is the palindrome string. So let's compile and run over code. Okay, so let's see. So you can see that string is a palindrome string. Why this is a palindrome string? Because if you reverse this string, then you will also get in the input output that will be SAAS. Okay, so this will this if condition will be SAAS is equal to SAAS. So these are equal. So this line will execute if body will be execute and it will display that string is palindrome string on console. Okay, so I explain you quickly again. I just write here a variable, initialize it with SAAS, a string, any type of string, any sort of string. You can also get the input from the user as well. Then I write here declare and initialize a temporary variable named reverse string. Okay, so why I write here reverse string? Because the reverse function will bring changes in the original string as well. But to compare, must have two. I must have two variables that will be both different. Means that one variable in which I will store the original string and the other variable that will contains the reverse strings. Okay, so that I will be able to compare both strings, means the reverse string and the input string as well. So I just write here this if condition. So after this you can see for example I explain. So for example I change the value, for example 1 2 3. Okay, so this will also valid for this. It will display that string is not a palindrome string. String is not a palindrome string. For example it is initialized with 1 2 3, and if I reverse this string then I will get in the output that will be 3 to 1. So you can see that 3 to 1 is not equal to 1 to 3. So that's why it is displaying that string is not a palindrome string. One thing, last important thing to remember is that the reverse function is defined and declared in this algorithm header file. So if you will not include the algorithm header file, it compiler will generate an error. Okay, so if you hope so you guys will enjoy this video. I tried my best to explain this. Okay, so so for the character array, the method is much more similar, but you just have to use another function. You can use another type of functions, recursions, for reversing the character array, but I will recommend you that you should use the strrev function to reverse the string, so that you can compare the character arrays. And after the evaluation of the strings, mean input string is equal to reverse string, then it you can say easily that string is a palindrome string. So if you find any ambiguity or question in this program, or finding the program to check that input character array is palindrome or not, you can ask me in comment section as well. So thank you guys for watching this video.